All right, get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into a topic that's absolutely crucial for people on the autism spectrum: secure attachment. We're going to unpack why it's so important and explore some practical ways to nurture these strong bonds.
Right.
Our roadmap for this journey is an article called Understanding Autism and Secure Attachment from Cheap ABA.
You know, it's funny. While most people think about secure attachment in those early childhood years, its impact actually carries on throughout a person's entire life, especially for neurodivergent individuals.
Absolutely. And, I always love a good aha moment. So let's start by breaking down this whole idea of secure attachment. What does it actually mean? I mean, beyond just, feeling close to someone.
Yeah, you're right. It's way more than just like a warm, fuzzy feeling. Think of it as a bedrock of safety, trust, and comfort in your relationships. It's that, that deep-seated knowing that your people are there for you, no matter what.
Okay, that makes sense. But the article also mentions these four key characteristics: trust in others, healthy emotional expression, comfort with intimacy, and resilience. How do these actually play out, particularly for someone on the autism spectrum?
That's where it gets really interesting. You see, these characteristics can be super important for people with autism because they often face, unique challenges in social situations. For example, let's think about trust. Building trust can be incredibly difficult for someone who's experienced social misunderstandings or even bullying because of their differences. But secure attachment can be a total game changer. Those consistent positive interactions with caregivers and loved ones really can help build that foundation of trust.
That's a really powerful point. It's not just about feeling good. It's about actually giving individuals the tools they need to navigate a world that isn't always designed with their needs in mind.
Exactly. And this ties right into healthy emotional expression. We know that individuals with autism might express emotions differently, sometimes in ways that are misinterpreted by, neurotypical people. But having a secure base gives them the freedom to express themselves authentically without being afraid of judgment.
That makes me think about the comfort with intimacy aspect, too. We often think about intimacy in the context of romantic relationships, but it's so much more than that. It's about feeling comfortable being vulnerable and close to others, whether it's family, friends, or even a supportive teacher.
Absolutely. And for someone with autism who might struggle with social cues or sensory sensitivities, that sense of safety and understanding in close relationships can be incredibly liberating.
As you're talking, the word resilience keeps coming to mind. I know the article mentions this, but why is resilience especially crucial for people on the autism spectrum?
That's a great observation. Think about the daily challenges so many autistic individuals face. Sensory overload in noisy places, social situations that can feel confusing or just completely overwhelming, communication breakdowns that lead to frustration. Resilience, that ability to bounce back from setbacks, is so important for navigating these experiences without getting overwhelmed or withdrawing from the world.
It's like having that inner strength to keep going, even when things are hard. And it sounds like secure attachment has a huge role in building that resilience. The article mentions that it helps with building trust, expressing emotions, and developing social skills.
And let's not forget about fostering resilience. These are all connected. Think about it. When an autistic individual feels safe and understood, they're more likely to take risks, try new things, and engage with the world around them.
So it's not just about feeling secure. It's about feeling empowered to face those challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm super curious about the how. How do we actually foster secure attachment in the lives of people with autism? I bet our listeners are dying to hear some tips.
Well, the article outlines 7 really powerful strategies that can make a big difference. It all starts with consistent presence, being there for the person reliably, both physically and emotionally. And then there's open communication, creating a safe space for the individual to express their thoughts and feelings, even if those expressions are, a little different than what we might expect.
That reminds me of something I was reading recently about active listening being super important for people on the autism spectrum. It's not just about hearing the words, but actually like tuning into the nonverbal cues,
Yeah.
the underlying emotions, and the different ways they might be trying to communicate.
Exactly. Active listening is crucial. It shows the individual that you care about what they think and feel, and helps to build that sense of trust and understanding, which, as we talked about, is really at the heart of secure attachment.
And I imagine routines are a big part of it too, right?
Right.
Especially for people who really like predictability and structure.
Oh, absolutely. Having routines gives people a sense of stability and predictability. which can be incredibly grounding for autistic individuals. Knowing what's coming next can really reduce their anxiety and help them feel safe, which, like we said, is just essential for fostering that secure attachment.
So it's not just about having a strict schedule. It's about creating that predictable and reassuring environment.
Yeah.
Now, what about that idea of modeling healthy relationships? I mean, that seems really powerful, but maybe a little abstract. How do we actually show these positive interactions to someone with autism?
It's really about showing, not just telling. So let's say you're a parent and your child who's autistic is having a disagreement with their sibling. Instead of stepping in and, trying to solve it for them, you can actually show them how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. Demonstrate how to express those feelings calmly, listen to the other person's perspective, and find a solution together.
Ah, so you're like creating this living example of secure attachment and action. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, seeking professional support also really stood out to me in the article. When is it helpful to bring in, like, therapists or specialists?
That's a great question. A lot of these strategies can be put into practice by anyone in the individual's life, but sometimes professional guidance is super helpful. If someone is really struggling with anxiety or they've experienced trauma, or if they're having some behavioral challenges that are getting in the way of forming those secure attachments, seeking professional help can really make a huge difference.
It's not a sign of weakness. It's about making sure they have the support they need to thrive. And it's not just therapists either, right? I've heard that ABA specialists can also play a big role.
Totally. ABA specialists can put together individualized plans that include activities specifically designed to build attachment and address any challenges that might be getting in the way. They can also give really valuable support to caregivers and teachers.
Wow, this has been so insightful. What's really striking me is that this whole idea of understanding secure attachment, it can actually be beneficial for everyone,
Right.
even if you don't have autism or work directly with people on the spectrum.
100%. The principles of secure attachment are universal. So think about it. How can reflecting on secure attachment in your own relationships, regardless of neurodiversity, lead to more positive and fulfilling connections?
Yeah, it's almost like holding up a mirror to your own interactions and asking yourself, am I creating that space of safety and trust? Am I communicating openly and really listening to the people around me? These are such important questions for all of us, whether we're talking about family, friends, or even colleagues.
Exactly. And it encourages us to think about how those societal structures and expectations might affect different attachment styles, especially for neurodivergent individuals.
That's a really powerful thought. I mean, we often focus on these individual strategies, but it's so important to think about those bigger systemic factors too. So what are some examples of these societal structures? The ones that we might not even realize are impacting people's ability to form those secure attachments.
Well, let's think about it for a second. Are our schools, workplaces, and public spaces really designed to be inclusive of the sensory needs and communication styles of neurodivergent individuals?
You know what? I've never thought about it that way before.
And think about our social norms and expectations. Do they allow for authentic self-expression? Or are we inadvertently pressuring autistic individuals to mask their true selves, which could actually make it harder for them to form genuine connections?
Wow, you're making me think. Those are some really important points.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today. How about we take a minute to recap the main points from our deep dive?
Yes, let's summarize all this amazing information.
So first off, we've established that secure attachment is a super important foundation for social and emotional well-being, especially for individuals with autism.
It's more than just feeling close to someone. It's having that deep sense of trust, safety, and comfort in relationships.
Yeah.
And that empowers them to express themselves, be resilient, and navigate the world confidently.
We also talked about those 4 key characteristics of secure attachment: trust in others, healthy emotional expression, comfort with intimacy, and resilience.
We look at how secure attachment can be especially beneficial for people with autism, helping them to build trust, express their emotions, develop social skills, and build that essential resilience. And of course, we went through those 7 really powerful strategies for fostering secure attachment.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love a good challenge.
All right, here it is. Think about this. How might our societal structures and expectations, the ones that are often built around neurotypical norms, actually get in the way of autistic individuals developing those secure attachments?
That's a really profound question. It makes us look beyond just those individual strategies and really think about the bigger picture.
Right. Are schools, workplaces, and public spaces actually designed in a way that works for the sensory needs and communication styles of neurodivergent people?
Mhm.
And what about those social norms and expectations? Do they allow people to truly be themselves? Or do they kind of pressure autistic individuals to hide their true selves, which could actually make it even harder to build those real connections?
Yeah, it's like you're asking us to examine all those hidden barriers that might be preventing people from really experiencing the full benefits of secure attachment.
Exactly. And I think it's a call to action for all of us to advocate for a world that's more inclusive and understanding, a world where everyone, no matter their neurodiversity, can thrive and form those deep, meaningful connections that we've been talking about.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I have so much to think about. I'm sure our listeners do too.
I hope so. We've really just scratched the surface here, but if this deep dive sparks even a little bit of curiosity and encourages everyone to keep exploring this whole idea of secure attachment, not just for people with autism, but for all of us, then I'll be happy.
So as we wrap things up, what's one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that understanding secure attachment isn't just about learning new information. It's about taking that knowledge and using it to build a world that's more compassionate and supportive. So pay attention, reflect on your own experiences, and don't be afraid to challenge your own assumptions. How can we create spaces where everyone feels safe and supported, where everyone can develop those strong, secure bonds that are so essential for well-being?
That's such a powerful message. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. It's been truly enlightening.
It was my pleasure.
And to all our amazing listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of secure attachment. Keep those questions coming, keep those conversations going, and keep diving deep into the things that matter most. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, stay curious.